In the depths of the moonlight Louisiana swampland, between haunting cypress trees and low-hanging fog, something sinister lurks. If you find yourself out in the bayou, and you hear a howl in the distance, Cajun folklore says it might just be the Rougarou. Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is Strangeology, a place where we talk about the strange and unexplained. Louisiana has a deep history and is no stranger to the weird. From unknown creatures to hauntings, you name it, it's got it. For centuries, this story has embedded itself within Cajun folklore. So today, we're going to talk about Louisiana's swamp werewolf. Coming up next. But before this video gets started, please like, subscribe, and smash that bell icon. It helps me out a ton when you do. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, you can check out the links in the description below. The legend of the Rougarou is prevalent in Cajun folklore and even in some parts of Canada. There are many in Louisiana who claim to have had run-ins with such a monster prowling the local swamps. Others believe that it's simply a cautionary tale to get children to behave and to perhaps not try to sneak out at night so much. Although there are some variations in the retellings of this story that are passed down from generation to generation, there are some common themes that we find. The origins of this dreadful and bloodthirsty creature can be found all the way back to Renaissance-era France, a time of kings, sword fights, and jousts. And it's then that the legend of these dog-like humanoid creatures that were known back then in French as Lougarou began. The word Rougarou is actually the Michif tribe's pronunciation of the word, which seemed to stick in modern times. In fact, the Métis people of Canada have their own hairy humanoid legends, some of which are derived from the French legends, and some are adaptations of the Algonquin Wendigo legend. Starting between the 15th and 16th centuries, these creatures would be blamed on various crimes that were committed, and it was a convenient out. Did your house get robbed in the middle of the night? Blame the Lougarou. Did your child go missing? Also blame the Lougarou. Eventually, the townsfolk would apprehend a local person that was suspected of being one of these werewolf-type creatures. The witness may have noticed an injury on the Lougarou that this person also had conveniently in the same place. Or they might be accused based on a low bar of acting suspicious. This person would go to trial, and almost always they would be found guilty. And during these times, many people were executed who were thought to be one of these Lougarou creatures. And so the story of the Lougarou was passed down through the generations as a cautionary tale turned to legend, eventually making its way to what is now Louisiana, and particularly where French-speaking people can be found in the New World. Today it's said that the Rougarou finds its home in the sugarcane fields and the swamplands around the greater New Orleans area looking for its prey. So if you're out there, it's best to beware. People who claim to have seen one of these creatures have described them as being 7 to 10 feet tall, with the body of a man and the head of a wolf, complete with red glowing eyes. Rougarous are also shapeshifters, but unlike its werewolf cousin, it's not limited to a wolf form and can transform on any night, and it's also not at the beck and call of the full moon, and by daylight, they turn back into their human forms. They're also incredibly powerful and fast, probably from all the cardio that they get trudging through the swamplands, and are known to have expert hunting tactics. According to some stories, they also have a particular penchant for hunting down Catholics who don't practice Lent for 7 years consecutively, along with misbehaving children, of course. Although they are more dangerous than your average werewolf, it's said that they might be slightly less violent towards people and actually prefer to wreak havoc on property or passing on their curse. And speaking of curses, who doesn't love a good curse? Rougarous are actually said to be cursed humans, and weren't actually born as a Rougarou themselves. This curse says that they must live a whole year and a day before they return back to normal. And it's said that if a Rougarou wants to end their curse early, they must spill the blood of a human, such as the act of biting them, werewolf style, to pass on the curse. Those unfortunate enough to receive this curse were either targeted by a local witch, voodoo priestess, or they got bit by a Rougarou themselves. One of the ways to end the Rougarou curse is to have someone take you out as a Rougarou, but this person can't speak of their actions for 101 days, or else they too will turn into one of these cursed beings. Now, I had mentioned before, back in the Renaissance era of France, that people thought they could identify a Rougarou by noticing similar injuries. They might have had a slash mark on their arm, or a chunk taken out of their ear, something like that. One of the key identifying factors that people seemed to gravitate towards was that while Rougarous are in their human form, they're incredibly frail and sickly. So anybody who appeared pretty under the weather or sick were assumed to be one of these creatures. Now, like I said before, the Rougarou is said to be a very powerful and fast and cunning creature, but there are ways to defend yourself against them. So if you do find yourself in the crosshairs of a Rougarou, it's said that their intelligence level is pretty dismal on the math front, so it's not too hard to outsmart one. All you need to do is take 13 small objects. They could be coins, beans, heck, even trading cards, or something like Legos. Something that's interesting. And an approaching Rougarou will be confounded by the number of objects and attempt to count them. Why, you ask? Well, Rougarous can apparently only count to 12. So this will make the Rougarou so distracted that it won't even bother to enter your home to cause harm, and it'll just keep trying and failing to count up all the objects until the sun rises, and it's forced to retreat and not reveal its human identity as it transforms back to normal. And similarly to the Wendigo legend of Algonquin folklore, the legend of the Rougarou says that if it's a fight-or-flight situation, the only way to kill one of these creatures is with fire. Now, not everyone believes the Rougarou exists, but over the years it's been blamed for a series of mysterious and brutal cattle mutilations and mysterious murders throughout Louisiana. In recent years, this fearsome beast has found its way into pop culture in Hollywood. Certain episodes of the TV show Supernatural featured them as their monster of the week in several episodes. In Houma, Louisiana, there's a Rougarou festival, which happens annually every October. The Audubon Zoo in New Orleans even has a Rougarou exhibit, and there's even a roller coaster ride at the Cedar Point Amusement Park in Sandusky, Ohio, which was renamed to the Rougarou in 2015. So do you believe in the Rougarou? I'll leave that up for you to decide, but keep in mind that reports of these creatures continue to occur, which makes me wonder, what could be hiding out in the swamps of Louisiana? Alright, thanks everyone for checking out the video today and joining me as we learn about the legend of the Rougarou. And just gonna throw a quick list of all my patrons over to the side here. Quick shout out to everybody for supporting the channel and what I'm doing here. If you'd like to sign up, head on over to my Patreon. The link is in my description down below. And until next time, everyone, as always, keep it strange.